Hello, it's Carla. I am Carla Sanders, the Cosmic Crone, and I am here with you today for the Divine Feminine Astrology reading, New Moon Edition. This is the new moon in Pisces. So I would like to take a few minutes to prepare you for what is probably what you're already feeling. As I look at the chart, first off, let me get to the basics. The new moon is Sunday morning, February 23rd at 10:32 a.m. So that is the exact moment of the new moon in Pisces. The sun and moon are together at 4:29 Pisces. And when I look at this chart, just kind of take a look at that. You see practically everything is in the daylight. It's in the top of the sky. So what do we have? What we have are, and that's the high, yeah. I'm just looking at things. Okay, we have, hi, somebody's here. When you're here, say hello and let me know that there's that little heart and like button you can put on. Sure, give me some love. It's always fun. And I'm hearing the cat. The cat wants in, but I'm not going to go over there and open the door right now. What I see when I look at all of the planets above the horizon is I see a lot of conjunctions. So coming around, we've got Sedna and Algol conjunct. We've got Black Moon Lilith and Chiron exactly at the same degree in Aries. We've got Nessus and Mercury, and we have Chariklo and Saturn. Oh, and we've got the sun and the moon, of course, and Chariklo and Saturn in Capricorn, Pholus and Mars in Capricorn, the galactic center and the Lilith asteroid in Sagittarius, and the great attractor and Hecate. So we've got a lot of merging. Most of these are feminine and masculine points together. Some are double feminine, some are double masculine. So what does that mean for us? Well, I have talked to any number of people who are feeling put through the ringer. Things going wrong, we could say, okay, it's Mercury retrograde. Mercury turned retrograde in Pisces. He's going to dip back into Aquarius and then come back. So all kinds of things, from car accidents to deals falling through to homes that won't sell, apartments that won't rent, sickness that won't get well. There's just a lot going on. And it just so happens that a lot of people that I know are feeling it really hard. Why might that be? Well, there's a lot at play. In a general chart like this, what do I see that means things could be really hard? And the main thing that I see that could stir you up, and that could be, you can always choose how you look at what's going on, no matter how crappy it is. So sometimes shit happens and we have to deal with the shit that's in front of us, and then we can also search for the grace that's within it. Sometimes we have to go get to the other side before we can see how an experience ultimately supported us or purified us or created an opportunity for us. I mean, life is made of these things. So what might make this particular Mercury retrograde super difficult? Well, the main thing is that Mercury bounced off of Nessus. The planet Nessus is the planet of healing the lineage. It stands for a long history of abuse and betrayal and drug abuse and sexual abuse and physical abuse and emotional abuse. It's just trauma really most of the things that produce trauma inside of us. So Mercury, remember, Mercury is carrying the Saturn-Pluto conjunction and all of the energy from the Scorpio retrograde, carrying it forward here to this other water sign, Pisces, meeting up with Nessus. And Nessus directly deals with so many of those scorpionic issues in a very practical, in-your-face, what are you going to do about it way. Now, what Nessus also stands for, besides all of that dark, shadowy material, is Nessus stands for you standing up and saying, I'm going to heal this now. This pattern stops with me. I am healing my lineage, and I am healing my future and my descendants' future. So Mercury, by coming up to Nessus, having the storm of the, stationing, hanging out with Nessus, having the storm phase where it turns around and heads back, and then it will come back to Nessus. And all of this is both the direct and the retrograde aspects are carrying that triggered energy of Nessus. So it could be that is impacting your emotional resonance with whatever's going on in your life. And it could be, is it causing bad things to happen, things to fall apart? Well, maybe, maybe not. We're all different in terms of how we want to see that, what needs to be stirred up in order for us to begin our healing process and dip into our shadow realms and bring up the strength and the wisdom that actually lives there. So okay, we're also in Pisces. Pisces is oceanic galactic. Pisces digs deep. And what Pisces finds when Pisces digs deep is pure, unadulterated love. So if you are in that place of feeling like this couldn't get any worse, I am so tired of things not working out, this was a very bad time for the absolute most horrible thing to happen. First off, my heart goes out to you. I know that if you're in the middle of a struggle of grief, of bad news, of just, more than you can handle right now, then you're in a place of more than you can handle right now. And maybe you feel like you can't fall apart even though you very much wish you could. And I encourage you to find a space where you can fall apart. If you're holding it together for the children, go see if you can walk out into the woods and give it to Mother Nature. You won't disappear. You will come back, and you will probably come back with a little more capacity to cope with what you're facing. If you've got to hold it together because you have to show up for work, again, find someone, something, someplace where you can let it go and find the deep inner peace that will somehow help you go through it. Find a person to talk to if you can. Someone who will not judge you, who will understand, who will not advise, who will just, the most I'm going to say is go be with nature if you can. And I'm not even sure I finished this sentence. I might have gone off. When Pisces goes deep, Pisces digs into deep eternal love. Pisces, the two fish that make up Pisces are actually representative of Venus and Cupid, her son. And they took love and took it down into the deep ocean to preserve it during the Great War that threatened to end the world, the war between the gods and the Titans. So when we see something going on in Pisces. We know we're dipping into deep, abiding love that will sustain us and support us through whatever is going on. So for those of you who are having a shit Mercury retrograde and it's not over, more to come, maybe that's why. Maybe it's your Nessus material stirring up. What else did I see that is Mars and Pholus simultaneous to this new moon. Mars and Pholus together right now. I'm not talking about the divine feminine. I'm talking about a lot of guys. Mars and Pholus can be intense. Mars is fierce, masculine, focused energy, fire, war, get things done, go after it, possibly with blinders on. Pholus is small actions with big effects, the unleashing, the detonation, the thing that came, it's even more intense and focused than Uranus. And these guys, now that you mention it, are in a trine with Uranus. So we have Uranus energy there too. And so you've got a lot of forward-moving, barreling energy out of Mars, and then Pholus and Uranus coming out of left field. This coming out of being blindsided, being rear-ended. So that could also be contributing to the sense of this is out of control. I am so tired of it, or there's no good way out of this that I can see right now. There was something else that I saw, and darn it if I'm not forgetting it. Maybe that was it. Oh, I'll keep reading, because in fact, here's something that could be tricky. There are some aspects to Saturn and Chariklo. Chariklo is a healer. Saturn is the lawmaker. And they happen to be in a flow aspect to Algol and Sedna. Algol is the demonized goddess, and Sedna is a woman who became a goddess, a creator goddess, through the violence of her father. It represents just all these massive, misogynistic, unconscious, patrilineal daughter-father patterns from the Inuit people of all things, and the result was that Sedna became a goddess, and she's a rather demanding goddess. She requires that the shamans go down into the deep and visit her in order that she will keep the hunters safe during the hunt, give them strong skills, and provide the animals so that the people can live. So she is a dark goddess, and she lives once again in the deep ocean, under the ice at the top of the world. Algol is the demonized goddess. She is an avatar of Lilith. When patriarchy came in with the monotheistic male god, they sent the goddess into the realm of Satan and the devil and the one who is forbidden. You are forbidden to worship her. You are forbidden to acknowledge her. To do so is evil. They turned her into the consort of evil and the source of evil. And we know that isn't true. We know that is not true. So these ladies are stirred up. They are in kind of a double trine to both Pluto in Capricorn and Chariklo in Saturn. So we've got that masculine, that intense, controlling, masculine energy mitigated. It has been mitigated throughout by the presence of Chariklo. I think that's why she's probably why we're still here and we haven't blown up the entire world yet. But this is an energy exchange going on between the feminine, the divine feminine, in her fierce avatar, and this masculine energy of control, death, and transformation, and wanting to, in some ways, usurp the territory of the feminine, and to do so without acknowledging her. That is what happened when patriarchy took over. What is, for those of you who are suffering right now, what is mitigating? What is supporting you? What can you tap into that will bring you some comfort and help you create a blessing out of whatever's going on? Well, one of the main things, first off, there is a square between Venus and Jupiter. Venus in Aries, fiery, youthful, somewhat impetuous. Venus is in Aries. She is definitely the maiden Venus when she's in Aries. And Jupiter is in Capricorn, expanding that which is systemic and logical and institutional, the bigger containers and structures of keeping order. He is, you could see him in this place of expanding that energy. And Venus is in a square, so there's a contradiction going on there. There is, in other words, in Venus, we've got a rebel, and Eris is also in a square to Pluto, and she is definitely a rebel. So you have these two feminine rebels, youthful, in their youthful phase, in Aries, and they are making things difficult for the dude gods in Capricorn. And Venus in particular is square Jupiter, so she's kind of taking him to task, saying, give us blessings, don't give us more repression, don't expand repression and lawlessness or outlawry in the name of abuse of power. Abuse of power was the word I was looking for. So that's stirring things up. You have a conflict here. You have the energy at odds, and it might feel a little bit like a stalemate. However, we've got three more things. We have three major feminine plus Sedna Algol. I'm going to talk more about that at the full moon because that will still be in effect, and Vesta is meeting them. I'll talk more about that at the end of this, in fact. But I want to speak to the strong healing aspect of Black Moon Lilith and Chiron. They are traveling through the early part of Aries together. Black Moon Lilith just joined Aries, just entered Aries in the last moon cycle. And for a while, she and Chiron are traveling together, at least through this next moon cycle. And Black Moon Lilith is I call her the feminine before patriarchy. One of our challenges in this age is to remember, what was it like to be a woman without the oppression of patriarchy? And to expand that, what was it like to be alive, to be human on the planet under a system that is ruled by the feminine? I'm going to say ruled by the feminine. We don't really know what it looked like in partnership with the feminine, ruled by the feminine. So Black Moon Lilith is, when we tap into her, that's when we can learn how how to be, how to tap into this original feminine, this universal feminine that has never been subjected to the patriarchy. And she is here merging, in the process of merging with Chiron, combining their energies, amplifying the feminine aspects of Chiron. Chiron's kind of a tough cookie. He's not warm, cuddly. He's not great old big great uncle like Jupiter. He is a mentor, meaning he's got to be tough. He's got to call you on your shit. He is a healer, meaning sometimes in order to heal, he can generate a healing crisis. It can feel worse before it gets better. Things can fall apart before you are in a position to put them back together again. The healing journey is a deep journey. Chiron is there, and the two of these are together. So the deeper purpose of whatever is happening during this Mercury retrograde is healing, is growth, is more life. And I do not have a problem. I am totally able to handle it. If you're in the middle of your stuff and you hear my words and say, cut the crap, shut up the bullshit, I am unsubscribing and deleting and blocking you because I don't like what you're saying about this. I don't mind. Chiron doesn't mind. Jupiter doesn't mind. Black Moon Lilith doesn't mind. Mercury and Nessus don't mind. If that's what you need to do, go ahead. I just know I am a crone. I have been around the block a few times. I have been enraged by people telling me that this is for my growth, that there are blessings on the other side of this, and I haven't wanted it at all. But guess what? I'm still here. And the only way I could still be here is if they were right. Because they've been around the block a few times too. So I offer you this. You are still here now. You will be here next week or tomorrow or next year, a decade from now. And this will be, remember, I can think back to 20, 30-ish years ago. The summer from hell. Yep, I had one. It was a year from hell, an entire year. Don't need to go into a story there, but could anything else bad have happened? Well, yeah, every single thing could have been worse. Everybody involved, save my mother-in-law, lived through that year. So, yeah. What else is, okay, let's go look over in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a completely, deeply spiritual sign. And one reason it is are two vast divine feminine objects, the black hole at the center of our galaxy, the galactic center, and the great attractor, which is not even in our galaxy. These are universal feminine points that are so vast and so mysterious that they are beyond comprehension. Black Moon Lilith taps into that, but she brings it into form. She is the way we can begin to try to understand or somehow metabolize this greatness of the deep feminine. But both of these points have goddesses with them that right now, at this time, and it's interesting that this is a Nessus-inspired moment, as I described earlier. The galactic center is in a conjunction with the asteroid Lilith. Now, I've mentioned two Liliths already, the demonized goddess, the universal feminine before patriarchy, and now the personal Lilith. The asteroid is Lilith. It is where you, as a human being, male or female, disown the feminine within you, disown your own worthiness, your own right to be on the planet. You deal with your self-esteem issues, and it resonates with men because men will absorb this, and it will influence their sense of their belonging, their masculinity, their, whatever they learned about being a good man. It will challenge them. With women, it is pure resonance because it taps into what we discover as we're growing up, when we discover that we're not worth as much because we're women. The fact that we were born women is already a judgment on our value to the world and our worthiness and our opportunities, and you name it. So this tiny little low self-esteem bit of ourselves that for some of us can loom so vast, and who has such a potent role to play in our personal healing and maturation, she is merging her energies with the galactic center, the center, the thing that holds our galaxy together. So this is a time for you, if this is resonating with you, this is a time for you to go into your Nessus material. What is in the lineage that you carried forth in your feminine that makes you feel that you are unworthy, that comes down through the line, and you are going to stop it now. You are going to heal it. I'm actually, this very morning, I did some work around that for myself, and shifts. It's amazing, and I will keep shifting because I have to carry it forward, and it won't be easy. It's going to feel rather scary because I'm going to be challenging the entire structure that I built my life around. That's what it's like. Fortunately, I have help. I am working with a great coach. I have a circle of sisters. I have friends. I have a partner. I have all my divine helpers. So this also could be available to you right now. And if that's something, feel free to ask me if I am in a position to help you. It is possible. I do work around these issues with women. So just send me a message and we can talk about what that might look like. So there is more. The great attractor, the vast point that is drawing our galaxy and 100,000 other galaxies towards it. The deep mystery. She is in a conjunction with Hecate, the crone at the crossroads. What could that possibly mean? What do these two have to say? Well, I think what they do is Hecate is taking a piece of that vast unknowable energy and making it evident that every single one of us, every single day, is at a crossroads. And what is a crossroads? It's a place where you have to decide which way to go. And we say, well, which way do I go? I don't know which way to go. And as long as you sit and say, I don't know what to do, you stay right there. You are stuck. And maybe, as I have done throughout my life at times, when I didn't know how, I sincerely did not know how to move forward, I inevitably slid back down a path that meant that I was such a slog to get back when you've slid back down a path because you were unable to make a decision, unwilling or unable, or just couldn't see the way forward. And so there is no judgment about that. You come to the point where you are at every moment, you are at a new place, And so Hecate here is saying, first off, she's saying, if you honor me and ask nice, I might help you. She's kind of a bitch, this old crone. And she's also the one who guides back and forth between the underworld. So what if where you are standing here is the goddess? The feminine is saying you need to go into the underworld in order to find your power, to find your healing, to find the gift in whatever the fuck is going on with you right now. And so you need someone who will bring you back. You need a guide. Hecate is the guide. All roads lead to the same place. So don't be stuck. Choose a path. Ask for help. Ask for guidance. Trust your gut and step forward. And if you need help, ask for help. That is the read. Oh, and I was going to say Algol. I'm just going to speak briefly about Vesta and Algol, because Vesta is retrograde. She has been retrograde. She met up with Algol last fall, the goddess of devotion, bowing at the feet, the altar of the feminine, the goddess who is returning like she ever left. And Vesta is coming back to reconnect with her around the time of my birthday in 3 weeks. Or is it 2.5 weeks? So this is important. I call this the reunion with the dark goddess, and it is happening almost in a opposite the Hecate great attractor aspect. So that's they're kind of anchoring this umbrella, this sky full of planets are anchored at sunrise and sunset by the union of these dark goddesses. This is significant. This is not nothing. Spend some time in quiet. The new moon is always an important time to be quiet, to go into the darkness, to listen, to drop into your belly, your womb, and get clear. Listen to what your next step is. And it's getting dark on me. It is sunset here in Maine. Have a blessed new moon.